What is going on, everyone? This is Andrew O'Connell with Pristine Capital coming at you with yet another market recap video. It is January 12th, 2021. I'm also the Director of Research at LeDuc Trading. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel if you enjoy this content, and I will continue to make it for you. Today we're going to be talking about the price action in the indices. We're going to talk about volatility. We'll go under the hood and check out the sectors and style factors, the trades I took. I had like a bunch of trades I was looking at taking today, and then we'll wrap up some options order flow. But before we jump in, quick risk disclaimer, as always, nothing in this video should be construed as investment advice or recommendations. Please follow your own trading plan and your own risk parameters. And last but not least, do not YOLO your entire account into any one of my trades. So let's jump right into it. It is week 2 of 2021, and it has already been, just a crazy year where I feel like people can make over a year's worth of returns in just a few short weeks. So this is pretty bonkers, pretty out there. Trying to just, soak it all in, not take it for granted, and just stay grounded. But it's really been, pretty remarkable. So let's check out the headline indices here. We're going to jump into the ES first. And our box scores for today were S&P 500 up 0.02%. We had the NASDAQ QQQ down 0.16%. We had the IWM small caps up 1.79%. And we had the Dow Jones up 0.18%. So if we take a look here, starting with the ES, now you can see that we were essentially moving, sideways for a couple weeks. Then we got a really nice push up after that Georgia Senate runoff. And now you can see here, we're kind of sliding down just a little bit, having a little bit of consolidation. And you can see today we put in a doji candle. We are in options expiration week. And a lot of times during OPEX week, there's a lot of chop in the market and a lot of sideways movement. So that's pretty much what we are seeing today. But across all time frames, the S&P 500 is looking very bullish. And let's see if my toss wants to cooperate with me. That way we can go over to the Qs. If not, I'll just pull it up over here on FinViz. All right, I'm just pulling it up on FinViz here. And you can see, the Qs did pretty much the exact same thing. Let me just zoom in right here. We'll go to 100% and then let me refresh. Okay, the picture's a little bit clearer. Yeah, the Q's doing almost the exact same thing, down 0.16%, pretty much just putting in a little bit of a doji candle. And in the grand scheme of things, the uptrend is still intact. IWM was our big mover today, and we are seeing, a lot of rotation from the mega cap tech names into the small caps, into the cyclicals, into value. And today we got yet another day of that. I actually put on a hedge in the small caps today, and we'll talk about that more in detail in a couple of minutes. But yeah, the IWM is looking very bullish. And then the Dow Jones, which pretty much always does absolutely nothing, up 0.18%. So you can see this one is still really just drifting sideways to up. You can see all these moves are coming on, like decelerating volume, nothing too crazy. So with those headline indices, it's a pretty boring picture. There's not really all that much to see, but under the surface, there is so much going on. So we're going to pull up, just bear with me one moment here. So if we take a look at our sectors and style factors, you can see a lot of the top performers were taking a break today. So like the solar energy ETF down 0.6%. We had the cannabis ETF pulling back ever so slightly, down 0.05%. And then another, some other areas having big pullbacks. GDX, the gold miners, are back in the bottom slot. This was such a heartbreaker for the gold bulls. And I think like my natural human bias, or not human bias, but kind of like market bias, I want to be a gold bull. So yeah, I was pretty pumped up, and I saw GDX move like almost to the top of the list for a little bit, but then it just got, batted right back down to the bottom. So just got to respect that, that price action that we're seeing. And we had the retail ETF up 3.02%. And what is so funny, I pointed this out on Twitter yesterday, is that the top two holdings in the retail ETF are MGNI, which is a digital advertising stock, and then Blink, which is, related to electric vehicles. It's a charging company. Those are the top two holdings. So that ETF, I don't know what's going on in there, but it's not as pure of a retail ETF as some people might think. And then we had energy, having a great day as well. So it really looks like this was more of like a rotational day into value. And if we take a look at these style factors, it will confirm that. So you can see cyclicals were up 1.52% and high beta stocks up 2.11%. And then our laggards, we had Minvol lagging down 0.73%, which is very bullish. And we have the defensives, down 0.58%. So it is, full steam ahead into OPEX week. And then for some of my trades, TDOC, I put on a long position in TDOC today. And TDOC is a name that I have been trading pretty actively. If you've been watching these videos, I caught the breakout in TDOC over here. And this stock is just behaving so well that I was like, I can't not add a position in TDOC today. Like, I literally can't not. Because, like, I was lucky enough to, take part in this move right here. And, took some profits. And we're just getting a really nice consolidation sideways. If you look, we had that nice move on really high volume. Then, sort of like a doji day on a little bit less volume. And then a pullback day on even less volume. So this one really looks like, if we zoom out to the weekly chart, this is starting to look really compelling, because you can see, on the weekly chart, this is our, yearly value area right here. And you can see we're getting very close to a breakout. So I'm watching this very closely. And for all I know, who knows, TDOC could go to $275 or $300 a share in 2021. Who knows what the future holds? I certainly don't. But this is a stock where I'm like, I can't not be in it. The earnings estimates, growth estimates for revenues look very strong. So I had to add a position there. GBTC, I bought the dip this morning. So GBTC, it just seemed like everyone, was getting pretty like, since I joined Leduc Trading, I'm not on Twitter as much as I used to be, which is a good thing for me. It's bad in that I can't interact with people as much, talk to followers. Like, I don't post my live trades there anymore, which I always enjoyed doing. But in one aspect, it is better that I'm not constantly looking at all these people that are like, being super dramatic on Twitter about the market. Like, oh, it's so bullish, it's going to the moon. And the next day it's like, haha, I'm actually bearish. And like, all this stuff. It's just pretty ridiculous. And you can get your mind sort of clouded with all these like extreme thoughts, and you can look at stuff that takes you out of positions and all that. So like, I just briefly checked on Twitter the day when Bitcoin was having like that massive 20% correction, and everyone was getting like super bearish on it. Like, the whole run up, it's like, oh, Bitcoin is the future. Like, yeah, it's a low float asset. These institutions are jumping in. This is gonna be a long-term trend. It's going to 100,000, 150,000. And the thing had gone up, like, this thing has like doubled, really fast. And then on the first like 20% down day, suddenly everybody was like, oh yeah, we knew it. And, in my head, I was like, this asset is so volatile that a 20% down move, like, really, the grand scheme isn't that crazy, as nuts as that sounds. So I'm like, what, I like this trend in Bitcoin. I actually bought some, like, I'll call it like physical Bitcoin last night, and I tweeted about that. And for my brokerage accounts, in my investing championship account, I bought some GBTC today. And I got in, I had luckily a really nice entry. I got in when it was still red on the day, and it ended up closing green, which is awesome. So GBTC, Fubo is another one that, if you've been watching these videos, I put on a sideways butterfly trade in Fubo. And I'm still on the weekly chart. I gotta go to the daily. So I put on my sideways butterfly trade with a January 15th expiration. I got the 20 I believe it was like yeah, I've got the 25, 31, 37 bull call butterfly. And what that means is I'm really hoping that Fubo closes at $31 a share on January 15th. And there's like, I have a buffer zone on either side of 31. And I put that on, I believe I got it on for like $1.47. Earlier today when this thing, was very close to 31, I was like, you know what, I have to pull off, part of this position. I'll take my profits. And I pulled off part of it for like $2.28. So that was about like a 70% gain or something like that. And I'm leaving like a small runner position into Friday. But this thing, I'm looking at it, who knows, maybe it gets to 41. And if that's the case and we tag, the top of the monthly value area, I'll take a loss on the remaining, piece that I have on. But I took off about like 60% of my position. And we'll see if we do pull back, tomorrow, see like we open up a little red. I'll likely, I might take off the rest of the butterfly for close to 31. So that was, it's kind of crazy because like I was playing for more like a neutral, like maybe it pins at 31. And it's kind of crazy because if you enter a butterfly and you have really good risk to reward, like Fubo did pretty much go sideways for like half the time I was in the butterfly. We had a crazy 30% up move and, I was still able to take off for like a 70% profit. So that was, just a really, good trade. Happy that I was in that one. And I know there's some people that probably killed it in Fubo, say with calls, and they probably did even better. But yeah, just a pretty good trade. We'll see what happens with that one. Plug is one. I remember, my videos, we talked about this, how I purchased this. I literally saw the headline about the partnership with South Korea, like the $1.5 billion investment. I saw it at like 6:30 p.m. after this close. And I entered the stock at around like $39 a share in the aftermarket. And this has gone just bullish beyond my wildest dreams. This is one of those stocks where like if you've been riding this one and you have it in your portfolio, like this one is single-handedly helping me a lot in the competition. And like I'm not like crazy overweight in it. Like I put on I think like a 6% position for my portfolio, but it's really helped me in these first 2 weeks out of the gate. So I'm just super grateful because, entering any of these stocks, there's like a certain degree of luck to it. You never know how far the stock's going to go. And this one is just exceeded my wildest expectations. So I'm really happy about it. So we'll see where Plug ends up going. And IPOE. So I am trying to take, some profits where I can. So IPOE, say for about a 53% profit. And this one, if you take a look, I started accumulating IPOE. I forget, specifically which candle I bought it on, but I've been super bullish on all these Chamath SPACs. And this one we had a really nice move up. Now we're sort of consolidating sideways. But I just wanted to take some profits just in case we get some volatility into next week. So I ended up closing this position out. We'll see if it continues to be bullish, might add it back on. Or if we get back to this 5-day EMA, who knows. I just wanted to, take a chip off the table there. And then NVDA I got stopped out of for about like a 5% loss. This one I got stopped out of some comments here. And this one, who knows, maybe it is going to go bullish. But I just didn't get the reaction I was looking for, entering this the other day. So, we'll see what happens with this one. But, I just took that off for really like a paper cut loss. Also just trying to lighten up the book a little bit. Let's see what else we had. Yeah, that about does it. Then the other trade, I forgot to include here. I did add an IWM hedge. And so far my hit rate, adding these hedges has not been good. But one thing I noticed is that Charlie McGilligan, who's a strategist at Nomura, put out a piece, I believe it was yesterday, saying, we're going to have like a record level of gamma exposure expiring, this Friday. And it sort of opens up like a window of vulnerability for the market. And he pointed out that the level of long delta exposure in IWM is at the 98.5th percentile since 2004. So I have, like a lot of long exposure in my portfolio. And, I've been fortunate enough to have had a really nice run like in 2020. And so far in these first 2 weeks of 2021, like this is pretty remarkable stuff that's going on. So I figured if I have somebody who's super smart that I really respect, and I know that he has access to a lot more information than I do, and he's got like really sophisticated models, the whole nine. He's one of really like the only analysts on Wall Street where like I actually respect their market calls. He's saying there's a window of vulnerability coming up. So I'm like, I at least want to have some sort of hedge, in case the market does get a little rocky, in case there's a dip. So that's why I was in the mentality today of like, let me not be too aggressive. Let me take some things off. And then I added some 211 strike puts in IWM that expire February 19th. So this was like a bit of a bold trade for me. Typically, I like to go about like 2 months or 3 months out on my options. But I figured really what I'm looking to hedge is any volatility in the market next week. So I figured my time horizon on this is only, a week and a half. I'm just going to go with the short dated option. If some volatility does erupt, the trade, could be like a double, triple, or a home run for all I know. But if it doesn't work out, I'm just going to cut the hedge off, take my loss and move on. So we'll see what happens with that. But this IWM, like, make no mistake about it, this thing is like a raging bull right now. So, yeah, proceed with caution if you want to try to short it. I just figured, let me add a hedge on. We'll see what happens. So those are some of my trades for today. Let's jump into some options order flow because there was a ton today. Let's see. Let me just pull this up. I want to see if... Do I have Cheddarflow open? I think I do. Yeah, I always have Cheddarflow open. And I will be posting my affiliate link for Cheddarflow in the description to this video. If you click the link, you can get a free 7-day trial if you're interested in using this tool. And so let's see, we have a ton. So we had, wow, this is crazy. So we had plug calls, coming into the close. So even though this thing is like up by a ridiculous amount, we're still getting call buyers coming in and, still bullish on it. Tesla, of course, we're just getting ridiculous amounts of call flow. Look how heavy they're coming into this. This is remarkable. So 12 million, 9 million, 9.9 million for March. January 2022. Yeah, this is insane stuff. Like, this is ridiculous. Let's see, Tesla. What did it do today? Did it just have another ripper? Yeah, so not even that crazy of a day, but this thing, has had a really remarkable run. Let's see. We have an order coming in. We have DocU for 9.5 million. We're not going to be able to hit all of these, that's for sure, but DocU is starting to look pretty nice here as well. Yeah, so you can see DocU closed up 9%, reaching out to the upper end of the recent range. And you can see that this is, a firm breakout from the monthly value area. So yeah, really nice move here. And it's coming on volume too, which is awesome. So we'll see what happens with DocU. Let's see what else we had. We'll go through one or two more. Yeah, there's just so much here. Target's already gone. I don't want to say parabolic, but it's really extended. Let's take a look at these. So we have Square calls coming in. These are for January of 2023. I see we have some of the 150 strike and some of the 210 strike. So let's take a look at those because they are longer dated. And I believe SQ is pulling back. Okay, yeah, so SQ, this one actually looks very interesting to me. Let's see how it looks over here. Because a lot of times what I'm looking for is like, that name that's super strong, that hasn't had like the ridiculous breakout yet. And you can see SQ pulling back to the 20-day moving average and the 5-day EMA, slightly below that. And we're very close to the top of the monthly value area. So this is one where, we'll have to see what happens. This stock was certainly a leader in 2020. I'm actually going to set an alert for this one in case we break out. So I'm going to set my alert right here. So I'll be watching this one closely for tomorrow. Yes, that looks good right there. Let's see what PayPal did today. So PayPal also, kind of just struggling, moving sideways, maybe just some OPEX chop. You can see PayPal actually looks a little bit stronger. It's above the 5-day EMA and it's above that monthly value area. So PayPal is likely one that I will watch also. But that about does it for this market recap video. Hope you all had a great trading day, and I'll see you all next time.